Well, if you ever want to find out who your real friends are, just speak your mind about your medical status and your preferences on freedom. So, first of all, the title of this video is the friendship test. This is a vlog. This is not commentary. I won't be presenting arguments in terms of science or medical advice or anything remotely close to presenting facts and truth to you. No, this is a kind of a vlog where I'm talking about something I'm going through that I'm really pissed off about, which if you want that kind of stuff, you can check out my podcast, which is now available. I ranted pretty hard on that one, from the being censored to being called certain names on social media, and then having those same people, well, we weren't really talking about you, to my face. And people being really vicious towards me and demeaning openly online, while not really having too much in the way of guts to say it in person. And I realize I shouldn't expect anything more from Facebook. It's really, I don't know what the hell I was thinking jumping back on there. But, I've been silent for most of 2020 and most of this, while just comment after meme after, demeaning horse shit towards me and my beliefs and me and my opinions, when you can literally get banned on platforms if you do so on certain beliefs and certain opinions. But apparently mine don't fall into that category, and nor should they. And I'm not calling for that. I'm just saying there's a little bit of hypocrisy going on here in terms of how people are allowed to treat me online, but if I do it, oh shit, So basically, I have come out loud and proud and very vocal and very public on my medical status, and also my opinion on a certain government edict that has come down here in New York State. And if you read it, it should make you angry, because it's very clear on why it's doing it. And it's forced some people here in New York to want to shut me out of businesses, period. People who don't want to have to go back to what we were doing in 2020 think I should not be allowed to participate in businesses as a result. So of course I came out hard against both of these things, as you know. As I've done here before I got, the eye of Susan on my ass. It's I basically just started throwing stuff up on mine because I was angry. Admitted, irrational, angry. I'm venting. Everyone else on this motherfucker been venting for years. But when I do it, well, I'm an asshole. All right. Why? Because I'm not saying what everyone else is saying. And it's ridiculous. Now, to be fair, there are people who have also shared in that opinion, or at the very least said, I don't agree with you, but, it is what it is. I wish you the best. And I respect that. Just because I disagree with you doesn't mean we have to have this fight. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and let you be nice to my face because I know most of the people on my Facebook. I have a rule about Facebook. I don't add somebody on my shit. I do a lot of public posts, but I don't add someone on my shit unless I know them in person. And it's just really staggering what has happened. What I have found is I've had some friends that will call me on the phone, back me up, try and calm me down, because clearly I'm unhinged. I mean, shit. Can you tell? And provide me places to go that are alternatives to these businesses, which, quite frankly, I haven't been shut out of at this point. I'm screaming loud and proud because I don't want to go to either the thing on my, on this thing, I got a beard. I don't need anything else here, which stores the, certain things very well, It's probably one of the, what do they call it, a foamite or something? I don't know. I'll look that shit up. That's all I want on my face, really, is that. And I don't want anything in my arm. So there's people that have gotten certain things in their arm that want me. See, I'm wording this because I know the moment I slip, Susan's going to kick me in the nuts. There's certain people that want me, because they don't want to put anything on their face, they want me to not be able to go to these places till the numbers come down. All four, I'm trying to not quote facts, but there's only 4 instances of mortality here in Onondaga County, and all of them were old, and all of them had underlying conditions. So there's that. But I literally just had somebody tell me I can't do the bare minimum to save the human race, and I'm just like, really? Were you out last week? Were you out during the peak that we just had in October? I think it was November. I mean. And suddenly my non-compliance is problematic to things. The reason I came out loud and proud on this is I know there's a lot of people that are not happy about it, that aren't willing to put themselves out there for obvious reasons. I mean, look what happened. So putting myself out there is not something that everyone does. I definitely feel for the others that have before me in this, and there's a few that have been vocal for a while on social media about their opinions on this. Crickets have been chirping a while on my social media, and I know some of you are going to be like, just fucking get off of there. But quite honestly, it's where the conversations take place. None of this shit happens directly, and it's interesting to see people act a certain way on social media and then are nice to your face. I'm like, can't you be real on both? Like, if you're really like you are in person, why do the shit you're doing on here with people who are supposed to be your friends? Long story short, I saw someone posted, if you are not complying and you're giving a business a hard time for this, then you're an asshole. And it had a whole bunch of little emojis that, essentially insulting someone like myself. They have a term for me. It's called Kyle. It's basically a derogatory term for people like myself, and yet then on the other hand they tell me I'm not being oppressed, where if I had a term for some of these motherfuckers, I'd be accused of certain crimes, especially on social media. But I don't know, apparently we can just talk shit all day if you're stepping outside the mainstream narrative. But it wasn't so much that drew me in. I was almost able to skip it. I read the comments because it's somebody I've worked with. And the comments were demeaning to me. People are basically wanting to blame people like me for this, instead of placing the blame on the governor, who's forcing them into this position that they have not been in for almost the entirety of the previous variation of what's going on, despite the fact that numbers climbed through the roof on, especially in, I think it was October was the last big peak, so to speak. So, and don't quote me on that. I'm just going off of some of the data I've been looking at, and I've been looking at a lot of data, and I've been basically throwing just these little tidbits up on mine. Some people take it or leave it. I mean, I figured when I do it on mine, either they're going to talk to me about it, delete me, which I'm actually hoping that's the case. If you can't handle me spouting my shit off, then delete me so, you don't have to see it. And, if that's what it is, hey, I don't blame you. I've deleted people whose shit I got tired of. And if you're tired of my shit, by all means. But anybody who knows me in person knows that this is me. Like, when you see me on here and I'm reading something and I get triggered and I go off into a fucking 30 to 45 minute fucking diatribe about it, that's really me. That's how I am. You can ask anybody. I did it last time I went out to the bar when I was still allowed to do that. Just put it on. Oh, I'm so tired. Just put it on. Is that too much to ask? Yes. At this point, yes. And it should be for you, too. Because you're the ones really suffering through this. It's all you. If you want that, I did it once already. I did it once. I'm not going to backtrack because I know why they're doing it. And they're doing it to take certain rights away from me. Personally. And anyone else that has made the choice that I've made and should be allowed to make, and I'm not going to sit here and give a shit about someone's feelings that doesn't respect that choice, that wants to force me or coerce me into something other than that choice. So when I say friendship test, when you stand up for your rights, when you stand up for your fucking freedom, that's when you find out who has your back and who doesn't. And right now I'm finding out that exact thing. And I'm surprised, honestly, at some of the people that have my back, too. I didn't expect it at all. There's people I haven't spoken to in quite some time that spoke up. And they were like, look, I understand. I did this. One of the people said they did this so they can go to concerts. And and I related my story on how I can't go to concerts, at least not here. To go to another state. I have tickets to a concert. They've pushed it to 2022 for this shit, and then I don't even know when it does come if I'm going to be able to get in. So that, because it's in one of those states where it'll be questionable, and it really ultimately depends on the company, because who's enforcing all of this? All of the businesses, and people are like, it's like beating your fucking head against a brick wall. I tried to argue the facts with people who were either A, going at me about the thing that you put in your arm, or B, going back at me at things to cover my fucking face with. So, and so I was going, and I tried to tell everybody, look, this is to make you do this. That's why I don't want to do this. I could give two shits about the inconvenience of putting that on. It's the principle of it. It goes against everything to my core. Now, I'm not asking them to do anything that goes against their core. And Lord knows, over the past 3 months, we've all been doing our thing here. We haven't been putting things on our face. Some of us put that in our arm. Some of us did not. But because those of us who did not, here we are being blamed again. And why? Why is that? You ever ask? Because of the nonstop 24-hour news cycle on almost every major network, and a certain few members of the government, such as the president, such as Congress, particularly of a certain political leaning, and not to mention the bureaucracies that are just doing it, are pointing the finger at me. And now if you look in history at whenever this has happened, it never turns out well. And I don't like being on either side of that equation. I'm of the opinion, leave me the fuck alone. Don't call me names. Don't belittle me, especially if you don't want me to do it back. And I've been doing it back. I've sunk to their level on a couple of these. Somebody wants to come in, start making assumptions about my thing, tearing down my character, tearing down anything that I believe or trust, or any things that facts I present, ignoring them and then calling the sources whatever, to just so that they can be blind to whatever I'm presenting them that doesn't fit into that comfortable little narrative they're so used to spouting. And I'm being labeled all kinds of shit. And I've gotten a lot of comments and letters from you guys on this channel over the years, essentially saying, me too, man, I don't know what to do. There's husbands fighting with wives over what should be, what kind of medical things should they do to their children that are currently being mandated in multiple areas of the country right now. Now, thankfully, there's some court battles going on. See, I'm almost getting sucked in. It's hard. It's fucking hard for me to do this and not do it. So just be patient with me. You're lucky you're getting videos on here. Just take it for what it is. And it's a struggle to watch that. That makes me so angry with all of the years I've given in service, not just as not just in the military, but also as a truck driver. And here I am facing going out there again and making sure they have all their shelves stocked. And I got to tell myself, look, there's people that aren't this ignorant. And I'm sorry, but they're being ignorant to me. There's people that aren't this ignorant, that are willing to, that aren't, they don't want to take these things away from me. They don't want this for me. They don't want to label me. They don't want to blame me. And they need their shit too. So there's that. So I'm trying to look for the middle ground morally, because every fiber of my being is saying, well, if they don't like me enough for me to go everywhere, then they don't like me enough to deliver everything. And I'm sure that that's one of the reasons we have a trucker shortage, because aside from the lifestyle issues, why work 70 hours a week if this is how they're going to treat you when you come off on your home time? Yeah, I can go and make $60,000 a year, but do I really want to do that? Pump money into Congress, pump money into the state government I currently live in that's doing these things to me, all while they tell everybody in the population I'm a bad human being and that I'm responsible for this and that I'm a piece of shit for defending my own rights. It's okay for y'all to defend your rights and get upset when somebody pisses in your pool, but I'm literally getting pissed all over in this, as are many other people, and you get upset when we get angry about it. You're allowed to get upset and vent, and one of the biggest debates going on around this is the customer that goes into the small business and doesn't comply and then gets angry about it when you tell them that they can't have anything. They can't have what you're offering the person behind them in line that's complying. When you tell them they can't have their meal, they can't have their drink, and you expect them to just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I understand, you're just doing your job. And then you get angry at those people, knowing full well that if you were probably in their position and somebody was telling you based on a choice that you made or something you didn't want to give up in your freedom, if somebody did that to you, would you be nice? I kind of doubt it. As somebody who's worked in service industry plenty, I can tell you, whenever I tell somebody they don't want it, like I tell somebody, oh, you can't sing for an hour. oh my God, they treat me like shit. It's a regular occurrence. Those are the same people getting upset with me right now. You know, I mean, really? Really? So if you want me to behave that way, maybe you need to evaluate that, and maybe you need to switch the shoe on the other foot. Now, I've had the shoe on each foot. I've had to tell people to do these things during my service industry employment. And I know it's not fun, and I don't like doing it. I do it because it's my job, but I damn sure don't necessarily blame the person who's giving me a hard time about it. Because guess what? Look at it from their perspective. You're othering them. You're telling them they don't get to do what everyone else is doing unless they follow this rule that has never been in place before, despite the many illnesses that we've dealt with over the course of history, a lot of which are worse than what we're dealing with today. So, I'm sorry, but don't just look at it from your pained perspective. I'm not paid enough for this. I'm just doing my job. Expect pushback. Now, I've also said that I am cognizant of this. And as I have practiced my freedom openly to not do these things, risking a fine myself, by the way, or jail time because I ain't paying that fine, and I'll fight it in court, but let's face it, who knows, it's New York. That being said, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. This isn't comfortable for me. How easy would it be to just put the thing on my face and do what everyone else is doing? How easy would that be? You know? It'd be pretty fucking easy. Tell you that. No problem. So, but I haven't, you know. But I'm that's the point. You know, and they're telling me, you know, just a month. You know, I'm not Nostradamus and shit. Because the governor said we're going to reevaluate January 15th, but I think I've heard something like that before. You know, something about 2 weeks. And then it became 2 months. Then it became 6 months. Then it became a year. Then it became, you know, and as far as some people are concerned, this could go on for till 2024. If we're still doing this at 2024, I don't imagine we're going to hold up very well. My prediction, though, is come January 15th, around the time I'm hopping in a vehicle for employment too. So I hope they bring it down. I do. I hope that somebody doesn't comply and gets their fine and has to go and fight in court. And I'll get behind anybody that does. I tell you, I'll raise money if I can. I'll have a fundraiser somehow. We'll figure it out. I'll come on here and be like, look, support this. I'll do what I can to help their legal fund so that they can get these things overturned. And that's what we need to see. We need to see that activism. We need to see the community backing each other up instead of immediately pointing their finger at people like me as being the problem, because I'm not the problem, and I never have been. I've never forced anybody to do anything, outside the bounds of their freedom. I've never requested that my fellow man gives up his freedoms up or do something medically based on my fear. It's just not how I'm wired. I don't want everybody around me to suffer so that I can feel safe. Sorry. And just because you don't have a problem putting a diaper on, so to speak, doesn't mean I'm happy about it. And like I said, it's the principle of it at this point. Because the efficacy of it is highly debatable right now. Especially when you put it in the context of do this or else. Which is exactly the context of the current New York State horseshit. And I'm struggling with it, you know. I've got a good support system. I've got some friends to talk me off ledges and stuff. But it's fucking difficult when you see the apathy, when you see the derision out there. It's fucking difficult. It really is. But I know I have to do it. I have to speak my mind on this. I have to not go silently. Because going silently just means, at the very least, I was complicit. And I'm not. I'm ascending to activist level right now simply because this hits me directly at home. And I believe it's because we were so compliant last year that we're doing it again. And we're among the also other compliant states that are overstepping leaps and bounds right now. The stupidity of it is monumental. And I know it's a global issue. I really do feel for the UK, Australia. I know I got viewers in these places as well. And I feel you, and I'm doing everything I can just to fight here to not let it get to that. And so many people here don't understand. They don't look outside the bounds of their own lives. They don't see that these things that are happening overseas in countries that were just as free as here, and realize that's coming. That's where we are headed. And it started off the same exact way with the same exact things that we're trying to do now here in New York and in California and in Oregon and in all of these blue states that are just... And I don't know why people are feeling some kind of safety in it. I know there's a mass psychosis event going on right now that you could trace back to many, many events throughout history. And I talk about that a lot in the podcast as well. I think I go over the whole mass psychosis thing. So I'm trying to, in vain, I guess, to maybe snap a few people out of that. Or at the very least, let people like myself know that I'm not alone. Kind of like I have been doing here on YouTube. And that's to, vent and let people know they're not alone. Because if you do this on Facebook, people there are going to do everything in their power to make you feel like you're completely alone. I'm a rational human being. I know I'm not completely alone, but I know when I'm on Facebook, I feel completely alone on there most of the time, barring the few friends I have on there or who are also friends in real life that are at the very least, saying, I understand, this is very important to you. I don't agree with all of it, or they agree with it. And, but this is wrong. They're acknowledging that it's wrong that I'm going through this. A few people. But there's a few others that are like, fuck you. No, I don't care about you. I care about me. I care about me and mine. And that's it. And fuck you. And then they get mad if I do the same thing. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I care about me and mine. I tried to care about everybody. You've seen my channel over the years. How frustrated I've been with the public health situation, with people's nutrition, with, all of the things that I fell for years. I tried. But now I got to consider what I'm going to do because I'm struggling. I'm down for the count right now. And I have some friends that are keeping me from hitting bottom, obviously. And I have this channel and this community that has been behind a lot of what I've done over these past 6 years. And so I'm more fortunate than some people. And that's one of the reasons I spoke up on Facebook, because I know for a fact that there's people in my position on there that don't have the luxury of that because of the risk of social prosecution alongside losing their job or whatever other aspects are going to happen if you practice disobeying. And so I'm not just disobeying for myself, I'm disobeying for them. And I just wish these people that were judging me so harshly and calling me these things understood that it's not just me that I'm worried about, because if it was just me that I was worried about, I would have already hopped in my car and left here. I'd have been in the Prius and said, I'm just going to plant my roots right now. I'm trying to find a hybridized way to do that and not abandon the people I have here. And I'm really struggling with that. It's gotten a lot easier since it came out to figure out exactly who I'm doing that for. But at the same time, I what do you do? Anyways, I just want to get on here and let you know that that's a struggle I'm going through, and that's one of the behind the scenes to what I've been doing lately. Because none of these fuckers watch my shit, I'm pretty sure. So they have gotten off easy. Y'all been here for all of this. I've been saying these same things. I've been doing these videos. I get pushback here and there in my comments, but it's all been... when I compare my comment section and the emails I get, and even with the people that have totally hate my ass and disagree with just about everything I fucking say, that has still been 10 times less toxic, 10 times less stupid than the shit I saw in the last 48 hours when I did the same thing I do here in Facebook form. So it's real interesting. And I also was kind of pushing the algorithm buttons to see what Facebook does to me, because I am definitely... There's things I'm putting on there that I literally got a video removed for putting on here. Look at that. So maybe Facebook stopped censoring people, or I'm just shadow banned, and the only way anybody can see my posts is if they click my name. Sure that's never happened here on YouTube. That's where I'm at. So, in going forward here on YouTube, I just want to say that this is the kind of content where I just come on here and talk about me personally and my perspectives and the things I'm dealing with and struggling with. And that way, maybe you guys can come up with some ideas that, in the comments, as you often do, of things I can do to cope with this. And, how do I get to have my freedom while at the same time not completely leave everybody behind, as I could easily do. Like, it's always been a struggle with me when things get rough here. It's something that happens every time things get rough, is, my head starts screaming, just go. Just go. Just go. It's the nomad in me, I guess. It's like, just go. You know what it's like out there. You've been there. You're by yourself out there. And when things suck here, it's real easy to go to where it's a little easier, where you don't talk to people for 3 or 4 days, where you're by yourself 90% of the time. And you have your freedom, and you're getting paid pretty well at the same time, usually. Not always. And by freedom, I mean when I pull over and go somewhere, I can pick a place that none of this is an issue. All of this dumb shit we're doing. People blaming me for the downfall of the population, when literally you can go to, I can count maybe 15 to 20 other states that this isn't a problem in. At least not on a widespread scale. And that's what pains me the most. People living in this little fucking bubble here, claiming the majority of people are doing this. Meanwhile, they're basing that on their Twitter, Facebook, and experience in New York where everyone's pretty much afraid to speak out. And if you are, a lot of people, you become a social pariah. People start gossiping. People start pointing their finger. You see people kind of just not coming around you as much. And I knew that when I opened up that that's a possibility. And I was ready to do that because, you know what, if these people can't take my strong opinion, then they're probably not my friend. If they can't put up with my personality quirks, my very opinionated opinions on all of this, the fact that I'm not going to comply with these things. I know some people get, another factor I see playing out is there's people that get uncomfortable and feel attacked or offended because when I state my reasons for doing what I'm doing and I actually do it, I feel like there's people out there that feel a similar way but are kind of ashamed that they aren't willing to do what I'm doing. I've seen a little bit of that. So I try and take that into account, and I know that a lot of people aren't in a position to do what I'm doing. Not everyone has the option to just, when things suck here, to go somewhere where they don't suck. I do. And it was my personal choices gave me that option. I became debt-free, and I'm a truck driver. I can go anywhere, assuming they haven't taken that away, which they almost did. We went through that. You remember that? I don't think that's a problem right now. I don't think that's not even being talked about in this mess. They're not even fucking with us, truckers. So, and I know several truckers working in the industry that are not being fucked with, you know? So, and if they are, it's really easy to find a company that isn't. That whole free market thing tends to really, you know, if a company or business decides to fuck with you in the free market, then that really does play out and balance itself in the end, which is why I have no problem if a business did this on their own. That's the other fucking dumb argument. It was just so dumb. I'm just like, okay, wait a minute. So I'm an asshole because the business is telling me I got to do this thing that they don't want to tell me. They don't want to do it. This is straight from several business owners. It's in the fucking news, for fuck's sakes, that they're having meetings saying that exact thing. They don't want to do this. This puts them in a bad position. No matter what decision they go with, they're pissing someone off, which I think is by design of this. I think maybe I'm not the target. Maybe it's the actual businesses. So you got the government telling the businesses not to let me in. Otherwise, the businesses would let me in. What's constitutional about that? That's not oppressive at all, right? This is going to cost businesses, small businesses in particular, thousands of dollars. They're going to have to hire people to police you. They're going to have to buy masks. They're going to have to hire people to manage you when you get pissed off about the fact that they have to manage you. They don't want that. What makes you think they do? Are you living in some weird bubble? I can't think of a business that likes that from the ones I've heard from. The government is forcing them, taking away their freedom. Yet you get mad when people like me say no. They should say no too. I can't support somebody that's going to be the cop, that's going to police me, that's going to turn me away from doing something that someone else can do should they follow this shit that they're being made to follow. And make no mistake, the government is illegally, unconstitutionally forcing businesses to do this. It's not even so much a mandate directed at me. I'm not the one that's going to get fined, I guarantee you. And I'm sitting out here loud and proud. I publicly put it on Facebook. I've probably enough evidence right now to convict me and fine me. Love to see him try. But that being said, I'm not the one that's going to get fined. No. Because I'm not the target, I don't think. Ultimately, they just want people like me to be unpersoned into compliance, to cave into the social and political pressures, while at the same time destroying small businesses. And so many businesses here in Syracuse, New York, have gone to shit. The mall is a shadow of itself. There's bars and fucking restaurants that disappeared over the last 2 years. And they haven't been replaced. So there's that. You know, corporate chains are doing all right. Imagine that. 'Cause a lot of those didn't have to shut down. And after 2 years, you know, just one more month, just another month, and it's going to keep going. And I'm getting blamed. I'm getting people pointing at me and saying it's people like me, you people. I'm being called a Kyle. I'm not a Karen, thankfully. But they're being called a Karen because they're on the opposite side of this, making the phone call to the health department. You know, doing what citizens in North Korea do, essentially, to keep that government going. You got relatives calling, the government on other relatives and getting them thrown in prison camps. Looks a lot like Australia right now. But people don't understand that that's what that thing on your face symbolizes. They think, oh, it's just so easy. Just do it. Just do it and shut up. I feel sorry for them and the world they're creating. You know, and this is going to get worse. The longer this continues, the longer you comply, the worse this is going to get. And they will come a point, I fear, from where this is headed here in New York, if it follows suit with New York City in particular, that it's going to cause certain bad things to happen, which I don't want to happen. And I know this. I think people don't really understand as they're in their social media bubbles just how bad this could get. I do. And I don't want that. So I'm trying to nip it in the bud now by just doing the disobedience thing. You know, I'm trying to nip it in the bud. I don't want it to escalate any further. The way it is in many countries across the world, and you can go and find the footage of that and see the response to the next step that we are literally marching towards blindly here in the state of New York and in California. It's like they're having a contest, a race to see who can get there first. I wonder who's going to build the first camps. Is it going to be California or New York? You know, if I was laying bets, I'm thinking California. We'll do it before here. We might see camps in New York City. We'll see. Depends on how things get. You know, and everybody will be pointing a finger at me at that point, as they have in human history. People like me will be like, oh, it's all your fault. And they'll come for me like they do in Australia, arrest me in my own home, and throw me in a camp. That's where we're headed. It's literally happening in other countries that were free. It's not like it's happening in China or North Korea. Well, it has been happening there for a very long time, but we still buy China's shit, so I guess, you know, you're cool with that. It's, you know, I see, you can tell I can't even fucking keep my mouth shut about this. I can't even keep my fucking mouth shut. I'm probably going to get fucking banned just for this shit. I don't know. I'm struggling with it, you know. And while I'm sitting here talking to you right now, there's people that I would have normally probably gone out and hung out with right now. But because I'm being civilly disobedient, disobedient and also not putting small businesses in that awkward position. Now, when it comes to gas and groceries, sorry, that's where the politeness ends. I don't care. I don't care about you get another job, because you're not going to come between me and survival. Sorry. And I'm not going to be nice about it. I'm not. Might not be your fault, but maybe you should tell your boss, hey, I ain't doing this. And maybe your boss should tell the owner, hey, I'm not doing this. And maybe the owner should tell the government, hey, I'm not doing this. And if enough motherfuckers did that, none of us would be doing this. But that would piss off the people who are too scared of their own fucking shadow to confront all of this, that want to take away my freedom for their comfort and safety. When literally nothing I have done for the past 2 years has caused a single event. I'm not on any contact list. Everyone it's run through literally all my friends more than once while I was sitting here doing indoor shit or out on the road traveling. And then I come back and no one's sick, and then I don't get sick except for that last time, which I caught it from someone else that I went and hung out with. Just saying. I mean, they let me know it was them too. So there's that. But the fuck do I know? If you got some advice, if you are like me, how are you dealing with it? Do you just become a hermit and live in a fucking mountain? Do you hide somewhere and just be like, well, fuck everyone. Fuck them all. Is that how you deal with it? Is that the proper way? Because I care too much about too many people right now to do that. I can't do that. I have the ability to do it, but I don't have the heart to do it. And because I have the nomad fucking call, I get so stagnant here. I'm happiest when I'm traveling, when I'm independent, when I'm free. And when I'm here, especially now, it's like being in prison. I literally feel like I'm in prison. And it's just because it's so oppressive of knowing that I'm not in the majority, There I go, using one of the buzzwords that, you want so badly to be oppressed. That was said to me multiple times, usually because people don't think independently. So when the first motherfucker said it, then of course other people are going to be like, oh yeah, he just wants to be oppressed. Think for yourself if you're going to talk shit. That being said, see, that don't take much to trigger me. Anyways, if you want to support what I do, you'll notice there were no commercials on this video because I am done with Susan. So all of my videos I am no longer monetizing on YouTube. So that means I'm down to user support, which quite honestly has been the majority that has kept me afloat on YouTube. But if you'd like to continue to support my work, you can either do so directly by purchasing the podcast or my music or something of that nature and get something in return. Or if you just want to keep me running my fucking mouth here on YouTube, albeit on a more personal basis instead of just a current events news basis, that's up to you. I realize this isn't the best content where I'm talking about my life, because who gives a shit about my life, really? I don't even give a shit about my life that much. I mean, not enough to watch it all the time anyway. So I can relate. But if you like what I'm doing, you want me to keep doing it, you want to support what I'm doing, there's some hard times coming for me between now and when I hop in the truck. You can head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com, leave a tip in the virtual tip jar, sign up for my free email list, especially if you want to know when the podcast drops, so that you can listen to that. They're generally 2 hours long, $5 a piece. There's 5 episodes there now. So if you're ever like, whoa, motherfucker hasn't posted anything in a while and you're bored, there's plenty. You've got more than an audiobook's worth of shit there to listen to, and most of which is probably going to be irrelevant for a few years. You know, I look forward to the day where I could take the podcast down because they're irrelevant, but might be a while. I don't know. You know, I mean, by take the podcast down, I mean the old podcasts. So, but that's it for this video. I just wanted to get on here and vent a little bit. I'm going to try and work on some music, but I'm not really feeling it as much as I should be. So I've been struggling to come up with more music. Is what it is there. I've got... Things aren't going to be total shit for me. I've got a couple of social gatherings, but one of those social gatherings might be a little awkward given the opinions that I strongly voiced. You know, but I'm done being quiet. Now, you don't just get to sit there and stroke each other and talk shit about me, either directly or indirectly, which a lot of times it's indirectly, you know. And that's my advice for those of you who do that kind of shit constantly on Facebook. You know, it's one thing to post a study or, you know, something of that nature. Particularly, most of what I was posting prior to this was stuff making fun of the government, stuff making fun of Fauci here and there. Nothing making fun of my fellow man here. But since that courtesy isn't being afforded to me, I did probably post a thing here and there. But most of what I posted on my page was just, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. And posting tables, studies, videos that summarize it for people that don't want to go read studies. Just making the information available, and some people are getting butthurt about it. So I'm like, okay, well, tough shit. Sorry if you want to ignore everything, but maybe there's someone that doesn't want to ignore it. You want to know who typically doesn't want to ignore it? People who are going through this and being constantly told that they're a piece of shit, that they're wrong, that they're a, you know, tinfoil hat wearing motherfucker. You know, those are the people that I'm really posting that for, so that they have a little bit of defense, informed defense against the ignorance that's often being thrown their way. But obviously, if someone believes differently, they will, first of all, ignore anything you put up. The common tactic I saw is to discredit the person reporting. So if I post a video by somebody, rather than watch the video and go through and click the links to the sources, which are either in the description of said video or on the slides themselves. They're too lazy to even type the title of something to find out if it's true or not. Yet they'll sit there and discredit somebody all day. Oh, they can't possibly be an expert in virology. I'm like, okay, dickhead. So you're not open to shit, because guess who you're quoting? Who is not? You know, I mean, you're literally quoting reporters that fucking probably barely went to college. You know, I'm starting to wonder if they did go to college, they only learned fucking CRT instead of fucking, you know, I'm just saying. All right, sorry. See, I got sucked in again. That's how fucked up I am, all right? There you go. Enjoy. I'm all fucked up. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. And please, keep my podcast going. And for those of you that are doing that, which there are a decent enough amount of you right now, thank you. Thank you I do appreciate it. I was sweating this one. You know, I was like, maybe this ain't going to work either now that I'm not able to put the free ones out. So, all right. Have a nice motherfucking day again and shit. I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do now. I'm going to try. You know what? I'm going to force myself to fire up the music shit and see what happens. And if something good happens, I'll post it. How's that?